Guess I'm ready. Soon to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Paragraph 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Wilmington Planning Board is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. Members of the public who would like to participate in the meeting via Zoom can do so by joining this link. Members of the public who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may also do so via telephone by dialing 1-646-558-8656 and enter meeting ID 872-5539-4339. Then press pound and then press pound again at the next voice prompt. Members of the public attending this meeting virtually will be allowed to make comments if they wish to do so during the portion of the hearing designated for public comment by following the steps previously noted, then press *9 on their telephone keypad or using the raise hand function on Zoom. This will notify the meeting host that the caller wishes to speak. In the event that despite our best efforts, we are not able to provide the real-time access, we will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as we are able. So who we got here tonight? Angela, you here?
Yeah.
Rhonda, you here?
Present.
Sean?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Terry?
Here.
Okay. Chairman's here. Everybody's here. So Val, get started. We want to start with potential zoning articles for town meeting. We want to start with Mozart Ave.
Yeah, we had sent out a letter last month to residents at Brown, Mozart, Bailey, and asked them to attend the meeting tonight to talk to the board about a potential rezoning of their neighborhood. The neighborhood consists of small lots ranging anywhere from around 10,000 to 12,000 square feet. The area is zoned R20. So, and this idea came about this summer when a resident on Bailey was denied a variance to put a pool up. And so she had contacted me about rezoning and how that happens. And I explained the process to her and how the board likes to look at areas comprehensively, kind of as a chunk of land, not just a single parcel. So this area is something that we started looking at, and you know, from I guess Marietta to Bailey, there's this cluster of undersized lots. So the idea would be to rezone those lots from R20 to R10, which would decrease the setbacks just a little bit, not an incredible amount, but where the side and rear setbacks are 20 feet right now, those would be reduced down to 15 feet, allowing a little bit more room for additions, pools, sheds, those types of things. So we sent the letter out and we asked folks to attend tonight. I did talk to a couple residents on the phone this week with some questions. And the one thing I did hear a concern about was there are a couple town-owned lots in that neighborhood that would that are about 10,000 square feet, just over. One is exactly, but the other one is a little bit over. Their concern was that would rezoning from R20 to R10 make those town-owned lots easier to develop or more likely to be developed in the future. And we talked about how, you know, the process that the town goes through if it wants to surplus land has to go through the property review board, to the town manager, to town meeting, and then it's put out to bid, which is a lengthy process. And I explained that the town typically doesn't get rid of parcels very easily because you never know what the town may need land for. I did take a drive around the neighborhood today, and those lots, they're small. There's a bunch of kind of rock. Looks like there's a potential for ledge or those types of things. They're not just kind of flat and easy lot. But that was the concern that I heard for the board from some of the residents, that, you know, they like those woods. They wouldn't want those parcels to be developed. So if the rezoning makes that easier, that was their concern. We talked about that maybe those parcels could be excluded from the rezoning. One of them, well, there's two together that are, and I can pull up a map for everyone, that are together, that are on the edge of this area. That could be, so here's the map. This is Aldrich up here. You've got Bailey coming in off of Aldrich. You have Mozart coming in off of Aldrich. And then you have Marietta right here that's connected by Van Etten. And these yellow parcels are the town-owned parcels. So there's two here together and one here. This orange outline is kind of our idea for which parcels seem to be kind of clustered together, undersized, and could be rezoned. And so these two parcels could potentially be excluded because they're on the edge. I don't know, this one's sort of in the middle, so we can talk about what that would look like. But that's what I had for an overview. And I didn't know if the board had any questions or comments or wanted to open it up to the residents.
Have you gotten any negative feedback?
Not negative per se, just a concern that if, you know, that these are really kind of nice neighborhood woods. So if rezoning it down to R10, currently they're undersized, right? Rezoning that area to R10 would make them a buildable lot size. Not to say that they would be developed, because they are town-owned land. There's a specific process that any land has to go through for us to, you know, get rid of that land. And actually, they could be, depending on their history today, they could be buildable in a zoning sense. We'd have to do some title work. I think there are probably some issues development-wise with you know, fitting everything on a small lot in this location where there looks to be like kind of outcroppings in those areas. So that was the only concern that a couple of the neighbors had talked to me about over the phone this past week, that they wouldn't want to make it easier for those to be built out in the future.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay.
But as far as reason to allow for a little bit of leniency on the setbacks, they had no problem with that.
Anthony Gigante, Mozart Ave, 11. I'm down at the corner lot there on Mozart. Years back, I wanted to put a sunroom on my house, a very small sunroom, and I was denied because of the R20 zoning. I'm all in favor of this R10 adjustment, which I think is rightful. Even though I have no plans to build anything there, I'm on a corner lot. So I was, both the side and the front had to be X amount of feet, which was kind of tough. But I'm in favor of this passing through, and I think it's the right thing to do for the lots and the people that are in this area. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this forward.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Hi, Bob.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Ed?
Hi,
Good,
so
Bob.
I live at 5 Bailey Road,
Mhm.
and My wife and I are the ones who attempted to put a pool on our lot last spring. And we applied for the variance, which of course was denied. And basically between the house and the septic and the leach field, there isn't a lot of room left over to do anything, even if you want to put a deck on your house or something like that. So I just wanted to speak out, wanted to thank Valerie for bringing this to the board for us. And also wanted to, just speak out in support of this.
Okay, thank you. Did anyone else? Michael, is that up there? Michael Tompkins? Did you want to speak?
So my wife Danny, we're at 12 Mozart Ave, with the abutters right behind those two town lots. So don't really have any objections to rezoning it per se for the purposes of giving that little extra space. That's no problem. But our concern is the building on that lot behind us. One of the other issues we have here is it's a little wet around here. I'm not sure if that's exactly wetlands back there, but I do know my septic actually right now is in failure. I'm in the process of having it redone because of the water around there. So putting another house behind us would kind of have an added strain of the whatever the water levels are there. So that would be our concern, but we certainly don't have any objections to rezoning for the purposes of getting a little extra space.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else up there? Hello?
Doesn't look that way.
Okay. Does the board have any questions? Sean, you have any questions?
No, not right now. I just want to make sure, just with the amount of room Mr. Wickwire would have in his 5 Bailey room, would that allow you to put your pool back in?
It may. It depends.
Be close.
It would be close. It would be
All
close.
Okay. Terry?
No, I think it makes perfect sense. So I don't know why we wouldn't do it. So.
Angela?
No questions. Nope.
Rondi?
My only comment would be to remind the people that we're bringing the article forward to town meeting, but it's town meeting that actually would make the zoning change, not the planning board.
Right. We'll make a recommendation.
Yes. Okay, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay. If there's no other comments, I guess.
I'm sorry, may I just ask one thing? So
Sure.
if we were taking the land behind our home off the table, when would we be notified if that was the case?
Go ahead, Val.
So that was something that I was just going to bring up with the board. Should we take the town-owned piece that's on the edge of the boundary out of the rezoning and leave that R20? I can pull the map up again. Just 1 second.
Just that would actually leave it so that you could build on it, even if it's R20, because these are all R20s. That lot falls under the 19. I think it's a 1914 design or plan. When I first moved down here, this was an old development from the early turn of the century. And these lots, I think, they've all put them in as R20. So that's still, someone could take that right now and build on it if they bought both pieces of the land.
Yeah, I think what Valerie explained to me, if we rezone, it would make that easier to happen. So if they take it off the table, I think that would be a benefit to all of us to keep that land as town land.
Whether that parcel can be built on, as I said, it may be buildable. It may be considered a buildable lot today. We'd have to do the title work to see if it was owned in common ownership with other lots, how long has it been that size? So there's work that goes into that. So it won't necessarily change whether it's buildable or not. It will just change that it meets today's zoning requirement for lot size. So you're right, it could be a buildable lot today, even when it's zoned R20. And so it doesn't, I guess the only thing it changed, if you changed it to R10 and it wasn't a grandfathered lot, now it would be the correct size to be built on if it was R10. So not having done all that history, we only do that work if a lot is proposed to be surplused. Then we'll look into its history and sort of figure out if it's a buildable lot or not. And then we have to, the town goes through the process to decide whether it wants to sell that lot or keep that lot for a future use.
So Val, isn't that that's a 8,000 square foot lot now with a 4,000 next to it? Is that ever buildable unless it was combined?
It would, well, it depends.
No, I'm sorry. It's either buildable right now or it's not. If we change it from R20 to R10, that condition doesn't change. It's still either buildable or it's not under whatever old rule, old
Right.
rule. So that doesn't change at all. So
Right.
it would have to be changed to R10 and combined and declared surplus. No, declared surplus, both of them, then combined, then voted on at town meeting, then built on. Like that feels like a lot. And then,
Right.
it could be remembering this wrong, but do you run into an issue if you're one of the abutting houses? Is there any sort of buffer between zones where would say number 7 Bailey be affected by the fact that the lot next door is a 20 and not a 10? Is that, I could be just making that up, but.
No, not with the residential zones. That's the case when there's maybe industrial and residential or commercial and residential, but not with the residential zones next to each other. But
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Bill.
you're right. It's a lot of different steps that would need to happen, and we don't typically dispose of land in town. For some reason, we kind of hang on to it just in case there's a future use for it.
But even if we did and it was declared surplus and someone purchased the 2 parcels and it wasn't grandfathered in, how would we justify that we changed everything else to an R10 and kept that at R20, that one lot, that one corner? So I don't think we would have a good argument for doing that. So, I mean, I can understand your concern. It's wooded now, but it's going to take quite a bit to make that go forward. I mean, that's one of the things we're trying to get away from is, having all this piecemeal zoning. That's really one of the reasons we're looking at these kind of situations. So I assume everything that's yellow there, like that 19-30, that's all town land too, that triangular piece.
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah. And Bailey Ave doesn't go all the way through to Apache, right? That's a dead end, right?
No, Bailey Road does go through.
Oh, it does go through?
It does. Mozart does not. It stops, here at Van Etten, which goes back to
Right.
Minnesota. But this right here, this paver street is not built out either.
Right.
So this is just sort of a piece of woods kind of back here. It didn't, and when I looked at those parcels, they're not, like I said, there's some outcroppings that you see. So they're.
Yeah, but that's not as big an issue as it used to be, right?
No, I think these types of parcels don't come up that often, I guess.
Right.
So Valerie, I guess I had asked you during our phone conversation if rezoning would make it easier to sell those lots. I know there's a process and we've talked about that. I understand that, but a zoning change on those lots, would that make it easier to build and more apt to be built upon?
Well, there'll be less hurdles to climb over if
That's
if
what
it
I'm
was
asking.
rezoned. So I guess, obviously, I guess the answer would be yes.
So that is a major concern for us. I had explained to Valerie, I have no problem with people moving their sheds, building pools, none of that. Are there any other people whose land either abuts or is across from these woods, Paul, that has any input?
Say that again. You got cut out a little bit there. I'm sorry.
Is there anyone else on this Zoom call whose land is in a very close proximity to those woods that would have any input? No.
Not at this time. They might come out, at a public meeting in the
And-
future, I guess.
And Mike, should I kind of outline what that process looks like?
Yeah.
So tonight, this meeting is just to get some feedback on whether the board should propose the rezoning. If it's proposed, there's a joint public hearing where residents are asked to come out and comment on the articles for town meeting, and that's held in March. And then the town meeting's held in May. I think it's the first Saturday in May to actually vote on these articles. So this is sort of the first step in the process of, should the planning board propose the zoning change?
Okay. Anything else?
If you have any thoughts afterwards, please feel free to reach out with comments even after tonight's meeting.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Val, you want to jump into our 7:30?
I think that would be great.
Okay, we had a 7:30 continue public hearing, conservation subdivision designs, special permit 19-01 for 79 Nichols Street. Attorney Jill, are you here?
I am, Mr. Sorrentino. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful holiday.
Thank you.
I have to admit that I made a mistake and I had submitted to this board, and I greatly apologize for it, all documentation. It was a 2-inch thick package, as Mrs. Gingrich can attest to, and so can Ms. Pelletier. And I forgot the engineering response letter in the package. I don't know how I did it, but I did. So we did receive comments from the engineering department and from the planning department that clearly didn't have the engineering review letter because of me. So I don't know how the board would like to handle it, but that does answer a lot of questions that are otherwise left unanswered because Mr. O'Looney and Ms. Gingrich did not have that document.
Is your engineer here?
He is. Wayne is on.
Okay.
I'm here.
Do you, Val, what do you want to do? You want to put up unfortunately, I can't seem to get onto the file, so do you want to?
Okay. You want me to pull what would you like? The plans or?
How about the rest of the board? What do you want to see? You want to see the engineer's comments and their response? Do you want to go through that, or you want to look at the plan? What would you like to do first?
Well,
Preference?
we probably ought to talk about those comments, right?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't you pull up the comments and
Okay. All right, I'll pull up the engineering memo.
There we go.
all right.
It's 6 pages. There's 2 general comments, just one being the one that there wasn't a response submitted. So reserving comment until that document is submitted. And then the second one is on the overall kind of design concerns.
Obviously, relative to comment one, we have to reserve the right to just have Mr. Looney review the letter that we had submitted, which does actually address all of the comments and even has resolved the issue with the fire department relative to the weight of the vehicle, and then also the need for the driveway turnaround to actually have a circumference the size of a subdivision cul-de-sac. Wayne, if you want to speak to that, you can, because that basically does go into the second comment with the overall design, relative to posing safety concerns, because in fact, we did go out and reach out to the fire department, and, site distances met, and the fire department feels comfortable with the way in which we have designed the road, I shouldn't say road, because it's not the driveway. Wayne, do you want to take over from there for that?
Thank you, Jill. You're correct. We did, the client reached out to the fire department, had a meeting with them to talk about access and that the buildings are sprinklered, and to discuss their concerns. I think it might be better, time might be better spent having Paul, read through our response letter first versus going through 6 pages of comments, of which we already responded to in a response letter that was like 12 pages long or something. We certainly can. I just don't know if it's a great use of our time.
Mr. Sorrentino, what would the board like for us to do? Obviously, it's your decision. Whatever you'd like, we will comply with.
Thinking.
I'm confused. What's the timeline of all this? Because this letter that I have is dated today.
The letter from Mr. Looney, is dated today. That's the date the comment letter came out. I submitted the package on December 18th. Planning and engineering did their review, I don't know, yesterday and today, and noted that the letter wasn't there. The second I got this saying the letter wasn't there, I was shocked, looked, and I clearly didn't include it, despite the fact that I had it. So that's why, if you look in, I don't know if Ms. Gingrich had the opportunity, or Ms. Pelletier had the opportunity to send you the letter from DCI, but it was dated December 18th, the date on which I got it.
All right, why don't we do this? Val, why don't you put up the plan just so we can look at it again and get a little familiar, and then I think what we'll do, we'll continue to next month. We'll have
and I apologize. It was clearly my
It's
error.
all right. It happens. It's all right.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Did not put the
You
response
just
to-
I know you enjoy meeting with us, so you just
I just love seeing everyone.
Yeah. So
Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Okay, so the plan, there you go. Thank you, Ms. Gingrich. Okay. Here we go. So essentially what we have done is I just want, if it would be okay, Mr. Sorrentino, I'm just going to give a really fast overview. We did secure the right to install the sewer system and to connect to the Wilmington sewer system. We spoke to the commissioners and got permission to actually access that system over a private easement that was 10 feet in the back, and we can show you that. So I just wanted to get that right out there. We have we connect the sewer system through a private easement. All of that has been set and established for this concept drawing. We have designed it showing the 30-foot setback before, I think you will remember, and we did modify the narrative. We did resubmit the narrative to reflect the changes in the plan, and we honor the 30-foot everywhere. Originally, we had requested a waiver from that provision because the front line of some of the homes are not set back that far. But based on comments from the board, we thought it best to maintain the 30 feet and did that based on 30 feet from the buffer, 30 feet from the sideline, and that's all shown on this plan as well. You can see for lack of a better term, because it's a cul-de-sac, it's a circle. The circle that's being provided for the driveway has a turnaround radius. What you'll see in Wayne's letter is that we actually met with the fire department and informed the fire department that, to make the circle bigger is kind of flies kind of in the face of what the OSRD is intended to provide, which is reduced impervious pavement area. And we said that we would actually sprinkler each of the individual homes. So that was deemed to be far superior to having a larger cul-de-sac, and it was deemed that the project was actually safe and adequate. Wayne, do you want to just touch on any of the high points relative to maybe the next page, Val, with the like, I guess it shows the stormwater, some of the stormwater aspects, Wayne? There you go.
Sure. So there's some concerns that the largest infiltration area, which was previously under the roadway, couldn't handle the loads of the ladder truck. We reached out to the ladder manufacturer as well as the subsurface structure manufacturer, and we also slid it outside of where the ladder would be if it were to be there. So I think that that issue is resolved. I think that the drainage works well. It's tight. The site is tight. I mean, we're not in denial of that, but I think we meet the required setbacks and buffers, and I think most of the comments are adequately addressed, in the letter that just got missed. That's all.
Okay. Does the board want to see anything else?
Oh, can I just make one more thing? We are creating the open space, and the open space, as you can see, just if anybody forgets, because I realize how long it's been, we did honor the request from Ms. Bigfoot to actually have the walking trail along the Middlesex Canal, and that's shown also at the side of the property, and that would be part of the open space area. Because I think one of the comments, and I can't remember from whom, but either from Ms. Gingrich or from Mr. Looney, it was, can you delineate where the public portion of the open space is and where the non-public portion is? And clearly, we will open the walking trail along the Middlesex Canal to the general public. Thank you.
All right. We'll give us a little more scrutiny. We'll look at your letter and we'll look at the comments from Paul. And so Val, what do you want to do? 7:30 on in February?
Yeah, we can do that. Yep.
7:30 at February 2nd. I'm assuming there's not anybody in the audience for this. I guess I should have asked that first.
I actually do have a comment received via telephone today from an abutter who was not able to attend the meeting.
Okay.
Let me just see here. So the abutter is immediately next door at 81 Nichols. His comment was mainly about just being concerned about that the project looks kind of tight on the lot. He said, it looks like they're trying to shove a horse through a mailbox, and I'm looking at the part that doesn't fit, and that fewer buildings should be considered for the site, since it is right in his sight line. It's immediately abutting him, so he just wanted to make that comment.
Okay. Comment received.
And then if I could ask the board and the applicant for next time, we'll definitely take a look at that response letter and review that. We can then issue additional comments, or should, so we issued comments based on the plans.
So do we need revised plans based on our comments and their responses? Is that what you're asking?
Well, based on our comments, we would want revised plans. And so what I'm hearing tonight from the applicant is that their response letter answers our questions. So,
yeah, but so So Jill would you be able to give us revised plans in 2 weeks?
Wayne, if I may, I apologize. I just need to ask Wayne. Wayne, based on the review, how extensive a revision do you think you need to undertake? And is it possible to meet the 2-week deadline?
I think some of the comments aren't relevant. So for instance, the diameter of the cul-de-sac is one of the comments, and there's a comment that it should be much larger so that the fire truck can turn around. But in the meeting with the fire department, they said they don't need to do that. So I think in reading through the comments, and we only got them today, I don't know of any plan changes that need to be made, because I think we're meeting the required setbacks and things like that. I think a lot of the comments aren't regulation or code based. I think a lot of them are
well, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what. We put a lot of merit into what the town engineer says, and we're going to want his comments addressed properly within the plan set and submitted. If you take exception to them, you can do that. You got 2 weeks to get them in and get us updated plans. So when I look at the plans, I'm looking at the plans, the updated plans that address his comments. And I'm not going to be a very happy guy if we come back and we have the same comments or we have disagreements and you haven't updated the plans. So Jill, we're going to continue the public meeting to February 2nd at 7:30.
Perfect.
I'll take a motion.
Don't move.
Rhonda, you moved it. Terry,
Yeah.
you seconded it.
Second it.
Angela,
Yes.
Sean,
Sir,
Terry,
Yes.
Rondi,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay, so we'll go then. On to the next.
Thank you very much, everybody. Happy New Year, and I appreciate your time tonight. Good
Thank
night.
you, Jill. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, could I just ask a question? If they met with the fire department, were anybody from the planning board, or the planning office at that meeting? And if not, should we get a statement from the fire department? They agree that it could be a small cul-de-sac?
yeah,
So-
I mean, don't you usually get a letter?
So the comment letter that you received today was not just from Paul, it was from Deputy Chief Posey as well. So it was from the fire department and the town engineer. So we're going to circle back with the fire department, and your next comment letter will be a comment letter from all departments together, so that there's a very clear message and very clear comments. But we'll circle back with them, because the comments that you have in your Dropbox are from the fire department and Paul.
Cheryl, you there? Could you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Did I forget to tell everybody that the meeting is being recorded? Are we all set with that?
We addressed it early on.
Okay.
Meeting's being recorded.
So I didn't miss any statement I was supposed to normally do, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl. All right, we had a 7:45 public hearing, signed special permit 20-02 for 205-207 Lowell Street, map 48, parcel 73B. Jessica Keys is the applicant. Who's here?
Good evening. My name is Jenny Kroll. I'm here on behalf of Jess Keys, who couldn't make it tonight. We're from the Science Center.
Okay.
So tonight we are here on behalf of our client, Howland Development, who is seeking a special permit to have a secondary freestanding sign at their entrance by Woburn Street. We recently had an identical sign permitted back in November at their entrance off of Lowell Street. And if you give me just a moment, I'll pull up a plan here for you. Go. So the first sign that was installed again was here over on Lowell Street, and they are requesting the same sign same location, or not same location, but at their secondary location here off of Woburn Street. Potentially in the future, all of the tenant slots that you see there would just have black cut vinyl letters that would just provide directory listing of the business being performed.
Okay. Val, do we have a good enough setback so we know there's not blocking any line of sights?
So where they show it on the plan is outside of the right of way. So they'll have to, so this picture may not be the exact location. They'll have to make sure that it's right of way, which the right of way on Woburn Street is pretty wide. So that will have to be met.
It is a 10-foot setback requirement, correct?
10 feet from the right of way, right? Not
Yes.
from. So it would be, you'll have to locate that property line along Woburn Street and then set it back 10 feet from there.
Absolutely.
And if we approve this, what was the condition? You wanted the other sign to be taken down? What was the?
No,
Yeah,
we
so-
actually just had that sign permitted in November. The condition is that they have 2 entrances of which they would like to provide a directory of listings of the tenants,
Yes.
the business being conducted there.
But you're asking us to waive a town zoning law here, so that's why we're having the discussion, right? So Val, is that the condition?
Yeah, so there's an existing sign located on 203 Lowell Street, the 205, 207 property. It's shown on the plans for 203 Lowell Street. It's an old sign. Looks like it's been there for quite a while. It's now an off-premise sign. So it's a sign on 203 that's for 205, 207. So is what we propose is in approving this special permit for an additional standing sign, that off-premise sign be required to be removed.
All right, so we'll still have 2 signs on 205, 207, one in Lowell, one in Woburn, but we want the existing sign that's on 203 to be removed.
That's right. And the sign, it's loosely on Lowell Street. It's not actually on Lowell Street. It's on their driveway that comes off of Lowell Street. It's sort of where you kind of have that branch that you go right to Textron and up the hill to the left to 205.
Mm-hmm.
So it's set back off of Lowell Street, but it's sort of marking their property, and we thought that this is appropriate just because it is set back off of the streets. You can't really see the buildings from the streets. So as an identification marker.
Yeah, it's not humongous either, so it's 4 feet high, so. I don't have a problem. How are you, Randy? You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Terry?
No problems.
Sean?
Good.
Angela?
Good.
Okay. So Jenny, you didn't have a problem taking the sign down at 203, right? You
I'll get it out of there for you, not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate your time. Thank you, folks.
Okay, sounds good. So what do we need? We need a motion in a second here.
Yeah,
Close
you'll
the
want to
hearing.
close the hearing. Excuse me. And then we did prepare a draft if you'd like to approve that tonight.
Okay, we could do that. Good, Rhonda, you're up.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second that.
Okay. Sean,
Yes, sir.
Rhonda,
Yes?
Terry,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Chairman says yes. Okay. So you want to do that? You want to do the draft now, Bill?
Yeah, if that's okay, we can run through it really
It's
quickly.
okay with me. I'm in charge.
Well, then here we go. All right, so this is the draft. These sign special permits don't have a lot to them. We outlined that we thought it's in the public interest to approve the sign. It's a 30 by 48, 10 square feet with 6 removable tenant panels. And the conditions, as always, this is for this proposed sign only, and any changes other than the tenant panels have to be reviewed by the board. Number 2, the project shall obtain approval pursuant to and be constructed and operated in accordance with all applicable local, state, and federal bylaws, statutes, ordinances, rules, and regulations. 3, if the sign has not been erected within 2 years of a special permit approval, the approval shall lapse, and a new application, fees, and public hearing will be required, provided there's no appeal. 4, this decision in no way invalidates any of the previous conditions required by the planning board on this property through site plan review or other special permits. 5, the provisions of this conditional approval shall apply to and be binding upon the applicant, its employees, and all tenants. 6, the non-conforming freestanding sign structure located on the 203 Lowell Street property shown on the above referenced site plan shall be removed prior to construction of the sign structure at the Woburn Street entrance approved in this special permit. And then number 7, the bylaw exception is for 1 30 by 48 freestanding sign structure at the Woburn Street entrance, in addition to the existing freestanding sign structure at the driveway from Lowell Street, which exceeds the total number of allowed freestanding signs per building lot. You're only allowed 1, so this is allowing 2. And then all of the provisions of the zoning bylaw pertaining to signage will be met unless an exception is specifically provided in this decision.
Any questions?
So,
Okay, take a motion to accept the conditions as drafted.
So moved.
Second.
Terry,
Yes.
Sean,
Sure.
Angela,
Yes.
Rondi,
Yes.
chairman votes yes.
you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, we have an 8 o'clock public hearing, parking release special permit 20-05 for 100 Ames Street, map 38, parcels 4 and 4C.
Mr. Chairman, Attorney Robert Peterson for the applicant, 100 Ames Street, LLC. This project was previously approved as site plan review case number 20-23. And the building that was approved prior by the board contained 44,318 square feet. The permit set plans that was submitted to the building department by Mr. Garrity. The building contained 44,319 square feet, so an increase of 1 square foot. But the issue here, Mr. Chairman, is there was a reclassification of the interior space based on the revised plans submitted by Mr. Garrity to the building department. And I believe there's a chart that was submitted with the application that outlined the difference in the required parking spaces. The original plan required 9 spaces for showroom. In the revised plan, that has not changed. The office space parking spots as required by the original plan were 15. The new revised plan requires 20. The industrial space is 26, increased to 29. In the warehouse space went from 17 to 14, so a decrease in 3. The net result, Mr. Chairman, is the new plans would require an additional 5 parking spaces. The applicant would like to point out that his number of employees is not going to change. What he did was reconfigure the interior of the building to provide office space where cubicles were previously proposed. There is a memo, I believe, that Mr. Garrity submitted with the application to Valerie and Sierra dated July 29th, 2020, indicating that the maximum number of employees that would be on site from Garrity Stone at any one time would be 45. That has not changed. And the number of persons and employees which would be on site at this site at any time is not changed from the original approval. However, the redesign of the interior space does change the parking calculations.
Okay, thank you. Val, you want to put the plan up? Is there anything to look at? What do you want to say?
The site plan doesn't change. It's exactly the same as what you saw before, but I can pull it up just to give you a refresher. Just give me 1 second. So this is the proposed building with the parking areas around it.
Yeah, I guess I personally don't have a problem. I don't know about anybody in the rest of the board feels, but.
As Ms. Gingrich indicated, Mr. Chairman, there were no exterior changes proposed and no changes whatsoever in the number of employees, but the redesign of the interior space did change the parking requirements, even though there's no change in the number of employees.
Okay.
Right, so here's the floor plan. The office space got a little bit larger, as Bob mentioned, which then, upped the calculation for parking.
So I guess the thing is, Val, I mean, this site is going to be developed down the road in the future as things change. Might not be 10 years from now, 20 years from now, right? So hopefully you'll still be here, and if we need to make an adjustment to the parking, we can do it then, right?
Yeah, once that other side is redeveloped, they'll need to meet the parking calculation for that side, whatever's proposed, or get a special permit from the board.
Right.
So,
but we could always amend if it turns out that, we do need those parking spaces. We could always make an adjustment down the road, right?
yeah, and this site, it's not, it's very self-contained. So if they need more parking for their business, they're going to want to create more parking for their business.
As long as they don't park on the grass, right, Mr. Peterson? We wouldn't do that. So.
I wouldn't even have to think of it, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Does the board have any questions? Sean?
No.
Harry?
Are we amending a previous relief or?
Yes, that's what we would be doing. So are you going to need a new plan or anything? What are you going to need here, Val, if we were to approve this?
We have a draft decision drawn up for you to consider. It's pretty much the same as the last one. It just notes that there's this change in.
Yeah, but did I already sign all these plans, Cheryl? I did.
You did.
You did. Well, I need to sign an amended plan, or what will we do? We just staple a new. I don't want any confusion down the road.
The only page that would need to be inserted, Mr. Chairman, would be the new building plan, the interior building plan.
Right. There's no note on the front or anything that says so many parking spaces. Does any of that have to be updated?
There is a page, the lot layout page does have the parking calculations on it. So, you may need to sign something, a page or two.
Yeah, I don't have any problem doing that. I'm just saying it's whatever you need on file, you'll need on file, right? So if you need an updated plan, then I'm sure Bob will make arrangements to get it to you. I'll sign it and we can attach it.
I can have Pat McCarty submit the updated calculations, so it shows the new.
Oh yeah, maybe that's the way to do
it.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be fine.
Valerie, you have that in the updated package that we sent to you.
Okay.
Yeah, the plans that we have the updated numbers on them, so they would just need a signature.
Okay, we can do that. That makes sense. Good. Okay, take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Sean?
Yes.
Angela?
Yes.
Rondi?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Chairman votes yes. Okay, why don't we do those drafts?
Okay. Let me pull it up right now. Okay, so this is just for the parking special permit because the site plan doesn't change, the stormwater doesn't change. So in our findings, we outline read through the whole thing because there's a lot of numbers, and we just outlined the spaces as they were before and as they're proposed today, and the resulting parking.
All right. Did Sierra check the math? I mean, I don't trust Cheryl. So did Sierra check the math or what?
Sierra did the math and I checked the math.
Okay, good.
Probably about 3 times each, just to make sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for conditions, I don't believe we had anything too special in here, but we said it's valid for Garrity Stone and Paul Coat only, and any change in tenant and ownership would need to meet the parking requirements or apply for a special permit. It's good for 2 years. Number 3, that all the provisions of the zoning bylaw pertaining to parking shall be met unless an exception is specifically provided in this decision. And then we reference in number 4, the last decision that's still in effect.
Okay.
In effect.
Good. No issues, Bob?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, good.
The only,
right.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, the last
Sure.
one, number 6, the fire department had brought up that the fire department commission should be in a spot where they don't need to go through cars to get to it. So we just added that the location be coordinated with them. And that doesn't have anything to do with plan changes or anything. That's just sort of a field, a field thing.
Okay, just a coordination thing. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, take a motion to accept the conditions as drafted.
So moved.
Second,
Harry,
Yes.
Sean,
Sir.
Angela,
Yes.
Rondi,
yes.
chairman votes yes. All set.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'll try not to bother you again.
That's okay. Good luck.
I appreciate it.
Do we have any Board of Appeals? No. Old business? No. Actually,
Mr.
what would you
Chairman,
like to do next?
we do have a Form A that we passed over.
Oh, I'm sorry, Larry. Why don't we
That's
do the
okay.
Form A? Yes, 20 Hopkins Street. Are you calling up the plan or?
I believe Sierra is going to call it up. Let me know if you have any trouble. And I believe there are some folks here for this, but we can explain it pretty easily as well.
Bear with me. I don't think I've ever done a share screen before. So, okay. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay. So the plan is, sorry, let me get this thing out of the way here. It's blocking my view. So the purpose of the plan is to take, let's see here, sorry, orienting myself. So they are taking this lot here. This is one lot as of right now. They're dividing it into lot 3 and lot 4. Lot 4 is not buildable. I don't believe it has frontage. That is intended to be given to Ken Chisholm over here. So I don't think they're proposing to combine them. Just it would be a common ownership thing, but that's what they are proposing at this time.
Sierra, can you zoom out a little bit for us?
Oh yeah, sorry.
There we go.
There we go. I had to zoom in to read the note, forgot to zoom back out. So yeah, it's this whole lot here that that's a new lot line. And then this section would go in common ownership with Ken Chisholm over here.
So lot 3 would be is it a frontage exception lot or?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. So they are in R20, and so this is a frontage exception lot where it doesn't meet the 125, but they do have the greater than the extra area that's required for a frontage exception lot. So that lot is all set, still meets zoning.
Okay. A lot going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a busy plan, but it's you know, appears to be a relatively simple A&R that they're actually proposing right now.
It's registered land. That's the reason that they have more stringent requirements for the plan for land courts.
Okay, understood.
Okay. Thank you, Luke.
Yep.
All right, so we're good, Val?
We're good.
You got all the notes you need and everything's okay on the plan, all the square footages?
Yeah, we had reviewed this in some detail. Engineering reviewed it for us as well as always, and everything seems to be in order.
Okay. So take a motion to accept the Form A as submitted.
So moved.
So moved. Oh, second.
Okay. Sean,
Yes, sir.
Angela,
Yes.
Rondi,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
I vote yes, so we're all set.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What would you like to do next, Val?
New business. We've got some votes to endorse plans for 635 Main Street, both definitive subdivision and site plan review, multifamily special permit. 2 different plan sets.
We don't know which one they're using.
I don't think they're doing the subdivision, so I think they're.
So why am I going to break my hand signing all those?
I know.
So why is that still needed?
So they need to go through the whole process to lock in that zoning. So you have to treat it as if it's a real plan.
We already approved the other plan.
I know. Well, they can choose their own adventure here.
So it still gives them the option.
It does. And it is the thing that locks in their zoning, the previous zoning.
That's because someone tried to change the zoning after the fact?
That's when we added the inclusionary bylaw.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
I'm not happy about this, but I'll keep it to myself.
What did you say? You're not happy about this? Is that what you said?
No, I don't like this, you know? Put in 35 or 40 apartments or for sale lots and no inclusionary zoning at all.
Oh. Shame on us.
Yeah.
All right. So
the plans we reviewed the plans. There were some revisions to both sets, but they are now both correct and ready to be signed. We would just need you to vote to endorse, and then if you could endorse them for us when you get a chance.
okay, I'll take a motion to endorse 635 Main Street, both definitive subdivision and special permit, the multifamily special permit set.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Angela,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
Rondi.
What happens if I vote no? Still passes, right?
Yes.
All right. No.
Chairman votes yes. All right, so that's square. I'll make arrangements with Cheryl to go by and sign them. Just need me, Cheryl?
Yes.
Okay.
And Cheryl's not back in the office until Monday. We're doing half staff right now to have less people in the office. So
Yeah, she'll let me know when it's time. Someone will. Or
Yeah,
you
I
can.
need to book a room.
All right. Okay, so what's next? Request to extend completion for Marielle?
Yeah, we got a request to extend their completion deadline to February 5th, 2022. They're actually, the home construction is actually complete. So they've got all the houses built. They were hoping to get a final coat or get some more road work done this fall, but they weren't able to do that. So they're looking for this next construction season to.
Why do they need to go to 2022?
I don't know why they would need to go that long.
Are you getting any complaints from the home? Are all the homes sold? Do you know? Not you should, but I guess. My
don't
point
know
is,
for sure,
this,
but
here's my point. Prior to you being who you are, the previous development, the people got upset because it took a very long time to get the signs and the curbing and the sidewalk and the roadway paved. You know, some of that had to do with economics, but you know, I don't want that to happen again. So if all the houses are built, there's no reason to make sure that everything else isn't done. I'm sure Paul's on top of it, but why can't he do it this spring? Is this construction going on? Do you know?
No, the only thing that's left is the sidewalks, part of the sidewalks, and the final coat of pavement. So it's not a lot of work, and it's work that needs warmer weather. So
so it's January now. So why does he need to go to February? Is it just because he gave us a year? Was he supposed to be done February of 2021? I just don't understand why we're going to February of 2022. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. So why isn't it done this spring and everybody's done and then 1 year kicks in? It would help him. He get his retainage sooner and whatever, right? So I don't get it.
That's right.
Am I missing something?
We do require that the pavement go through 18.
Okay, is that what it is? The base pavement hasn't gone through?
The final coat hasn't gone through for 18 months.
Yeah, but so the base pavement's down, right? So are you waiting on it to go through a winter cycle, another winter, and then he'll pave in the fall?
No. He would pave as soon as possible, but then once it's complete, we would ask him before we give the surety back. He has to go through 18 months before we give the total surety back. I don't know that has to. I don't know that the subdivision itself has to go through.
What's his current end date?
I don't.
It says February 5th, 2021 on his letter.
Okay.
It does?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's looking for a year's extension.
Yeah.
Be nice if he had somebody here to represent, some of these questions that Michael had or anyone else.
Yeah, I just don't want it to drag out. I mean, if the houses are all done and there isn't any big construction going on there, get in there and get it done this spring. What's the problem? Is there something, unless there's something we don't know? I mean, so then we could just give them a 6-month extension and from, February to August,
Yeah. No, I think maybe into the fall of this year would be fair. Construction season.
7 months would make it September, 5th?
Yeah, all right. So we'll give them to August 31st. Prior to school commencing. Kids will be back in school, right? So kids will walk on the sidewalk and meet at the bus, right? So we'll give them an extension to August 31st. We expect it to be done. Unless there's something we don't know about. If there's some condition that Paul wants because he wants it to sit for a certain period that I'm not seeing. And it doesn't seem like you're aware of that, so.
No, and I think come August, they can come back and talk to the board about where they're at with their project.
All right, so I'll take a motion to extend the completion deadline to August 31st, 2021.
Second.
No, someone needs to propose that, don't they? Can I propose it? All right, I'll propose it. So you second? Good. How do you feel, Sean?
I agree with you.
All right. How about you, Angela?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Rondi?
Yes.
All right. I vote yes. So, all right. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what's the next one? Request to waive site plan 20-06 201 Lowell Street.
Yes.
What's up with that?
Hi there. My name is Brittany Gessner, and I'm a civil engineer. I work with VHB, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant Textron Systems to represent that project.
All right. As long as you ignore my background.
I'm trying to. I almost put mine up.
I feel really bad. I should have said something at the beginning of the meeting. I'm not, I didn't know how to get rid of it. I'm not computer literate.
They give us the fancy backgrounds too. I almost put it up, but it wasn't worth the effort.
That came up automatically, so please.
Here with me tonight, I also have Carly Jones with Textron Systems, Jeremy Howell with Textron Systems, and Cindy Gibson Murphy with Margulies Peruzzi Architects.
I'm
going to share my screen if that's okay.
Yep.
Excellent. So on behalf of the applicant, VHB has submitted a request for a waiver from site plan review for a relatively small HVAC upgrade project to an existing external storage area on the site. The site is a 61-acre piece of property that is nestled between Lowell Street, Main Street, and Maple Meadow Brook. The site is currently developed with 7 buildings, 1,241 surface parking spaces, and a pertinent infrastructure throughout the site to support operations. There's a large wetland system in the middle of the site associated with Maple Meadow Brook, and the western leg of the site is a recreational area with several tennis courts and baseball diamonds. The property has been under the same ownership since the 50s, and nearly all of the buildings and parking areas were developed at that time in the 50s, with the exception of one building, the westerlymost building, which was added in the 80s. The property is located entirely within the general industrial zoning district. It is partially located within the Zone 2 groundwater protection district, which is noted with the cyan line. Under existing conditions, the site does comply with all zoning dimensional requirements, with the exception that portions of the existing buildings may exceed maximum building height, and the site does exceed the 15% maximum impervious threshold under the groundwater protection district. Both of these exceedances are pre-existing nonconformities, which are outside of the scope of the proposed project that I'll get to in just a moment. The proposed project does not propose to alter any of the existing buildings or parking spaces on site. Hence, the project will result in no change to total building space, building dimensions, or total number of parking spaces. Next slide is the project is proposed near the centroid of the site. There's an existing external storage area, which was constructed in the 50s as part of the original development of the site. It's shown in this red box. And this is a view of that area using just Google Earth. The external storage area is an above ground. It consists of concrete vaults, which are covered in earth and vegetated with grass. You can see here on the left side, there's an exposed concrete face to the storage areas where you can get in and out of them. And then on the opposite side, you can see the earth mound covering the storage on the back. There's an HVAC system in this maintenance shed, which maintains temperature and humidity control within the storage areas. This existing HVAC system has failed, and upgrades are required to maintain temperature and humidity control in the storage areas. These maintenance improvements have been mandated by the state fire marshal. Furthermore, under existing conditions, there's buried underground ductwork that connects the maintenance shed to the storage vaults. And after further review, we've discovered that this underground ductwork has failed and become compromised with water due to leaks over the years. So the proposed project, there's really 5 components of the project, and I'm gonna walk through each of them individually. The first component is we're proposing new underground conduit for electric and data lines from the existing building, which is shown in the lower right-hand corner. These conduits will go underneath the landscape area, the existing parking, and another landscape area to connect to the maintenance shed. All of these areas will be replaced in kind. This red box is showing that existing maintenance shed. There'll be new HVAC equipment installed within the existing shed. This red box is showing an expansion of an existing concrete pad. It'll need to be 2 feet by 4 feet, so a total of 28 square feet of new impervious area to the site. This is equivalent of about 1/1000th of a % of the total site area. It's negligible. It does not substantially change the total open space of the 61-acre site. These red lines are showing new proposed overhead ductwork. As I mentioned, the existing underground ductwork has failed. In an attempt to reduce the amount of earth disturbing activities to implement this maintenance work, the applicant is proposing overhead ductwork that will be supported by 2 posts every 6 linear feet. The post will interface with the ground plane via concrete blocks placed on top of crushed stone and filter fabric. No foundations are proposed to support the ductwork. And then there will be 4 areas of about 6 by 6 feet of earth disturbance, which are required atop each one of these storage areas to connect the overhead ductwork into the storage vault. This temporary disturbance will be revegetated to match existing conditions. These 5 components represent the project in total, which again is a maintenance project mandated by the state fire marshal to maintain temperature and humidity control within the storage areas. The project will not alter operations or development conditions on the site, but instead allow the existing user to continue their existing operations. This project is also under jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. We'll be reviewing this with them tomorrow evening. And on behalf of the applicant, I respectfully request that you grant the waiver from site plan review to allow the maintenance improvements to proceed as mandated by the state fire marshal. With that, I'll pass it back to you, Mr. Chairman, but myself or any of the other folks representing the project are happy to answer any questions you may have. And I will stop sharing my screen.
All right.
Once I can find my Zoom.
Val, we have any comments, Val?
No comments, no.
You good? Terry, you got any comments? Any questions?
No, I found the reason that they're expanding the pad and it makes sense to me, so.
Okay. Okay. My only question is this a long-term fix?
I guess I'll pass that over to one of the folks with me.
Yes. I couldn't tell you because I'm not a mechanical engineer, but a brand new air handler unit is being installed in that mechanical building. So based on the cost of an air handler unit, you generally replace them and they last a very long time.
Okay. Well,
I guess a number I'll guess wrong. So
okay. Well, I meant long-term fix, like you're going to stay
Yeah.
there for a little while.
yeah,
not,
and
you know,
Textron has no plans to leave the property at this point. So
Okay, thank you. Okay, any questions from the board? Sean, you okay?
I'm okay, thank you.
Angela?
Good.
Rondi?
Good.
And Terry already said he was okay. I'm okay. Okay, so, I'll take a motion to grant the waiver.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Sean?
Yes, sir.
Angela?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Rondi?
Yes.
The chairman votes yes. Okay, you're all set.
Excellent. Thank you all very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
What do you want to do next, Phil? Oh, wait a minute. Sean, did you read all those minutes?
All of a sudden, my mute button.
Oh, wait a minute. Angela, did you read all those minutes?
No.
What do you mean, no?
I read August.
You didn't do September, October, November, and December?
You get November and December?
No, so we gave
What's
you
in there?
August, September, and October.
Oh,
November, but it's not too, but too late.
all right.
Oh, it's in there now?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't read those two.
I'm sure they'll be read by next month.
I'll take a motion to accept the minutes as drafted for August 4th, 2020, September 8th, 2020, and October 6th, 2020.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Angela,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes, sir.
Rondi,
Yes.
I say yes. All right, what else you want to do? Groundwater Protection District?
Yeah, I put the zoning articles on here for discussion purposes. So added the actual article language, the drafts, into the Dropbox. I changed, let me just pull up the brew pub one because I did change the wording on that to give a limit on the percentage of production that they could do. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, so this language, I put in a new definition or a new kind of section describing a brew pub: restaurants licensed under the relevant state and federal statutes to produce and sell beer and or ale at the location and whose primary business is the sale and preparation of food to be consumed on the premises. Malt beverages, including beer, ales, and hard ciders produced on the premises may be sold to other establishments, which shall not exceed 25% of the establishment's production capacity. And that 25%, I've seen 25, I've seen up to 50%, but the goal being that it makes it so that it's a restaurant, not a brewery. Breweries are a separate type of use.
I have a comment.
Sure.
And I mean this seriously, okay? Only because of what's going on in around the world. I don't know if you've followed what's going on in England, but do we have to define what food is? It's because of COVID in the local pubs, there's a fight about what's the definition of food. So do we need to define what a meal is or what a sandwich is?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I'm
not being a wise guy. I'm serious.
Yeah.
It is an issue. So, so I don't think, all right, different cultures, but. You feel comfortable?
I feel comfortable. Terry, do you feel comfortable with the, I know that you had brought this up for discussion.
Yeah, the 25 you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, the as long as we're sort of in the, I mean, I assume you're researching other towns' bylaws, other locations' bylaws. I mean, I wanted to be on the low end of the middle, right? So it sounds like that's where we're at.
Yeah, I think so. I think it helps define the scope of what would be happening with that use.
Yeah.
So the only question I have is, obviously this is a brew pub, so it's pretty much a restaurant where you can sell alcohol to people. And then you're allowing them to sell alcohol or ales and the like to other establishments, but not to exceed 25%. Now, when you say other establishments, what does that mean?
So it'd be wholesale.
So So wholesale to other restaurants?
It doesn't distinguish, right? So I guess it could be to restaurants or to anywhere, really.
But not individuals.
Right, because it's other establishments.
That's what I just want to make sure that that's what we mean is establishments, meaning other restaurants or dealers or whoever.
Right.
Okay. Does this include, I mean, I don't think this is where it's sold or anything, but other package stores or Target or?
I suppose, yeah. I mean, they would be in other establishment.
Okay.
They wouldn't be able to exceed
Yeah.
that.
Do we need to say other alcohol selling establishments or something like that? Or
Well, that's what I guess
whatever the proper term is.
So I guess it's such a wide variety in what I think of when you say establishment. So I don't know what Terry or anyone else's thoughts are on that.
John, what are you going for? Because I mean, I think of, it seems pretty clear that means that you're selling it to be resold somewhere else by someone else in some way that they deem as part of their business plan, whatever that is. And though, I don't think it's like, I don't think that's retail. If you're concerned that this is retail, right? That's not what this is, right? So I guess that's a different question. Is that what you're concerned about?
Well, I mean, I think it's broad, right?
Yeah, but another establishment can be retail, can't it?
Right.
But they're not a retail. They're not retailing it to people, right?
No, they're retailing it to a retailer, essentially.
Wholesaling it to a retailer, right?
Yeah.
That's how I think of it.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. You guys are the lawyers. You figure that out. But
well, that's why I guess that's why I'm bringing it up, because that word is broad to me. I don't know, Angela, what do you think? I mean, maybe I'm just being a little.
I mean, I think if you're concerned about whether or not the establishment that they're wholesaling it to can sell alcohol, then you could fix it by saying establishments licensed to sell alcohol. But I think that is the whole purpose of a brew pub. They're brewing their own beer, they have a restaurant, but they also have this percentage of their business where they're selling their product.
But would you like Jack Abbey's in Framingham or wherever they are? They are a brewery. They're a brew pub, but they also sell retail to customers that come into their store. Would you be allowing that as well?
Not the way this is written, no.
And I guess that's what I mean, because you go to certain places, let me think. Lord Hobo, that's in Woburn, right?
Yep.
So that's a place that sells food. I don't know, I'm sure they sell it to other establishments, and they sell it on the premises to walk out with to individuals as well.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is actually similar to, like, say, North Reading, because I know they have a pub and they are not allowed to sell the beer they're brewing to patrons. They're selling it to other retailers at a certain percentage of their business, but not to their customers.
I think Lord Hobo is a different situation too, because their food is a different license and a different entity that just shares the building.
Well, that's a good question. So the license here goes together, right?
Yeah,
Food and
this is right. So this is really a restaurant, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
A street brewery.
So what if there's a pandemic and they want to do takeout? So they're going to be able to sell their booze as a takeout. What if that should happen?
Well, so here's the other thing. This is I see this as a step in a direction of encouraging and allowing these types of uses, these experiential retail restaurant types uses. If we get someone who comes in with a business plan that everybody loves, and this zoning would have to be tweaked a little bit for that use. Then we have an actual person telling us how it works, what they need, what makes sense to This is almost, in my mind, a first step in that direction of further tailoring it to make sense, but sort of a step in encouraging different uses that people have been asking for.
Okay.
It may not be perfect to start, but I think it's pretty good. And those other establishments, you know, they wouldn't buy wholesale beer if they couldn't resell it then, right? So, so I think it's it may not be perfect, and I'm sure we'll find out how.
Okay. Sounds good. All right.
And if you want to discuss any of the other zoning articles, groundwater protection district, special permit for commercial uses, going to this board instead of zoning board of appeals, since they're in front of you for site plan, and then making restaurant uses as of right in the general business zone. Those were the 4 articles that, and would love to get your
I think they should. I think those are good ones. That they should all come to us and not go to the Board of Appeals.
Okay. And if you like all 4, I will submit those to town council to be reviewed and submit them for town meeting. Just say yay or nay.
Randy, how do you feel? All 4?
Yeah, all 4.
Angela?
All 4.
Sean?
Sure.
Terry?
Say yay.
I'm for all 4.
Okay.
So Val, I do under whenever. Are we done?
One more thing.
Good.
Okay, so remote participation policy, I tried to capture some of your concerns and comments in a draft memo that I will pull up for you.
I can honestly say I did not go over that.
That's okay. Can you see the memo?
Not yet.
Okay, let me just stop and reshare. Okay, so I don't want to read the whole thing, but well, I guess I will. So kind of skip to the second paragraph, kind of summarizing the concerns that I heard. And these were from this board, the Conservation Commission, and the Open Space Committee. There was a general concern for the individual who would be participating remotely. Many of the committee members have been working remotely, spending time on Zoom or other video conferencing platforms, and have encountered difficulties when some individuals are meeting in person and others are meeting remotely. It is often difficult for the remote participant to get a full understanding of the discussion between other committee members, and it may be difficult to hear comments from the public during public hearings. For the planning board, applicants and their consultants make visual presentations to the board with plans mounted on boards. A remote participant would need to be able to see the visuals to follow the presentation and any discussion that results. Prior to enacting a policy, the Board of Selectmen may want to confirm that technical capabilities exist to support the full needs of the remote participants. Additional comments include the following. Section 2, Part B states that remote participation shall be permitted. It may be helpful to clarify how the chair will handle multiple requests that cannot be granted, cannot all be granted. So if the chairman gets 3 requests to be remote, all 3 of those people cannot be remote. There has to be a quorum in person. So how is that handled by the chairperson? It may be helpful to define the term unreasonably difficult so that the policy can be administered consistently across committees. And you're not supposed to be remote unless it's unreasonably difficult for you to be there in person. So does that mean, in another state? Does that mean not feeling well? What does that mean? Next, a committee member suggested that applicants may want to continue their public hearing if members are participating remotely. The Board of Selectmen may want to consult town council as to whether there are any legal complications posed if members participate remotely in a special permit public hearing and that special permit is appealed. Section 5, Part A states that a request shall be made 48 hours in advance of the meeting. This timing may be difficult to accommodate if there are special video capabilities required for the remote participant to view live presentations plans. And then lastly, the policy states in Section 2, Part F, that a public body may not opt out of remote participation. However, if required equipment is not available per Section 4, Part C, the chair shall deny the request. If a committee's technology needs cannot be met because of the nature of their meetings, presentations with visuals, would it be acceptable for a committee to avoid the use of remote participation? So let me know if you have any suggested changes or additions or would like clarifications, anything at all. I'm supposed to have this memo to the Board of Selectmen by Thursday.
It looks good to me. I don't have any comments on this. What you have written down there, I think you took my feeling pretty good. But using tonight as an example of why I don't like this, if you didn't notice, I didn't particularly care for the engineer at his comment about, brushing off the town engineer's comments on one of the applicants tonight. And I don't know what he looks like. I didn't get to see him. We didn't get to look at everything together. You're working off a small screen. It's kind of hard. And if you notice this a couple of times, people kind of faded in and out. A couple of times, value kind of lost you there a little bit. You had to repeat yourself. I don't know. It would be nice to be in a room, I guess. You do have a set of plans you can kind of look at. Cheryl's been very nice a couple of times. She's made me some stuff. She made copies, but she doesn't really have to do that unless I ask for it. But it's just a little easier to look at anything, something somewhat complex. The tech strong thing tonight, we didn't even need a presentation. I don't think any of us really would have. We're not going to give them a waiver. So other than just say what they were doing, we didn't have to go through the whole thing if we weren't video Zoom, Not everybody's really comfortable with this, I don't think, so you could tell some people kind of jump in a little too quick. I don't know. So I know everybody, I have no problem if Cheryl wants to stay home and take the minutes remotely, she could do that. I don't see that being an issue. We're together, something like that. Or if Sierra doesn't have to come and stay there all night, when she's only going to do the Board of Appeals or something, I mean, you guys can work that out between yourselves. But I think the board should be, and everybody should kind of come in, I think.
Valerie, can you kind of update me? The town is thinking of doing away with Zoom meetings and in-person, now presenting in-person meetings, but want to be able to have the ability to have committee meetings be split in person and not in person. Is that what this is all about?
This is for when COVID's done and we're back in person. It's for situations where, let's say, someone's traveling for work and they don't want to miss the meeting. They could video in from wherever they are. Or, I don't know if
But we're talking about board members, right? We're not talking about the audience, right?
We're talking about only board members. So it would be, and I guess it's sort of, if you find it difficult to participate being remote, then you won't want to participate remotely. So it's sort of maybe has its own kind of check on it, right? If you're a committee that doesn't look at plans and just talks, then maybe it's not as hard to have someone. But with what this board does and the Conservation Commission and other people, it's really hard to have a conversation about it with someone remote. But yes, this is for those instances where someone would be calling in or videoing in remotely.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Great. Thank you.
All right. So I have one pet peeve I want to go over.
Okay.
About snow removal. I think I mentioned this to you before. I mean, you know, we set these conditions when we do approvals of these site plans. And one of the, usually always we have a condition, you know, snow needs to be removed within 5 days, 10 days, whatever. Now, obviously, if we have a bunch of storms in a row like we did years ago, and there's no place to put it or to get rid of it, obviously, you know, you've got to be accommodating. But I don't like when I go into some of these places to shop or whatever, and there's this mound of snow and you can't see, and it takes up a lot of parking spaces. If they're supposed to take the snow out within 5 or 10 days, then that's what it should be. That was the condition of the development, and that's what we should enforce.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we have something on file for any of these places, then maybe we should send them a letter reminding them of what their responsibility is.
We can do that. If you want to send me names and places, I'd be happy to do that. We did that maybe last year or the year before for one of the big spots in town.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I don't know how anybody else feels, but that's just one of my things. Anybody got anything you want to talk about?
I just have one request, if I could. I wasn't able to get to the Zoom file today because I have an Internet Explorer that's old and it doesn't, or not Zoom meeting, but the Dropbox. Every time I tried to touch the link, it just said you can't get there. And when it says this is the link and doesn't give me actually a link that I can right click and, you know, get the actual path, then I could have gone to Chrome and put it in Chrome and got the link. I'll work on getting my Outlook for the town email on Chrome, but right now it's all in Internet Explorer and I have to move everything. So, but maybe somebody could just send me the actual link to the Dropbox so I can actually get
I had a problem with the link tie. I couldn't find it. I don't know, it went away for some reason. I don't know if I did anything or whatever, but
yeah,
everything else was
says click here for the link and it says this is the link and it doesn't give me the actual path. And if I had the path, I could have just copied it and put it in Chrome and gotten to the other stuff. But I'll get getting that.
Do you want me to start putting that in?
Yeah, maybe Sierra, we put the whole link in.
Yeah, sure.
Just in case that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ouch! Oh, darn it! That just struck me. Oh, hurt.
That'll teach you.
Yeah.
All right.
I was lost a little bit because I could have read a few things. I just tried to pay attention.
All right. So let's see. 11 and 4 is 15. So I got 15 more meetings to go. So.
Oh, you're counting them down.
How many more meetings to go?
I don't know. I think she told me I was April of 2022. So.
Oh, April 2022.
I think
yeah.
you're the same,
I asked for 3 years, Michael, and they gave me 5. So I'll be resigning at some point.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So. All right. Oh, so we have to do that thing, Cheryl, for the clerk.
Yes, the
conflict of interest.
Oh yeah.
Do I have to do the whole thing, the state thing, 70 minutes again?
All but Randy.
Yeah, I'm caught up.
I don't know. Aren't you usually on and off here?
Yeah, I don't remember when I did it last. I'll have to look at my record.
Randy's been on and off here for quite a while, so.
I have off days too. But the last time I took it, I did the planning board one and the state conflict of interest or employee one. So I have them both somewhere.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Taking adjourning of the meeting. Meeting adjourned.
Okay.
Motion to
Thank
adjourn.
you, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, guys.
All right.
Good to see
night.
y'all.
All right. Bye.
Bye.